Hello, this is Brian Houle. I am a solutions consultant with Beyond 20, and today I want to talk about using the like operator in comparison clauses in expressions in Cherwell Service Management. Now, that was a mouthful. But basically, I want to talk about using the like operator with wildcard matching to create sort of a rudimentary tagging system with stored values. So let's unpack that a little bit. So in Cherwell, we have stored values, and these are system-wide variables, if you will, that can be changed if they're in the global scope. And a lot of times we use those, putting these in air quotes, but global variables, some system settings. You can kind of check those stored values in your one steps or in your expressions to gather information on states of various things. You can put IDs in there. And what I want to use that for is, instead of having one value in a stored value, I want to have a series of values and use the stored values as kind of a tag system. So, we would have a comma separated list of values in a stored value that we could then use as a sort of settings to check in various one steps. So let me just show you an example of what I'm talking about and how this can be useful. So here I am in the Automation Processes Manager, and we're looking at our journal notification map, which is available on the Map Exchange. And what the journal notification map allows you to do is send the owner of, say, a ticket an email notification when a new journal is created. And as part of this, we want to allow the end user or end administrator to specify which journals should receive notifications. And I want to be able to turn this on and off. Now, we could do this with one stored value per journal type. What I opted to do was to use one stored value and then use multiple comma-separated values in that stored value as a sort of tag. So here we have customer requests. So when a customer request comes in through the portal, this automation process will notify the journal owner, the ticket owner upon which the journal is attached. So when a new customer request is created, I want to limit the records. So the way I'm going to do that is I want to make sure it's attached to an incident, and I want to make sure that just in case that the customer request created by ID is not the incident owned by ID. That won't happen very often at all, but I just want to make sure that in these journal notifications that a ticket owner is not being notified that after he or she puts in their own journal. But really, I want to look at this logical expression here in this clause. So what this is doing is it's looking at a value. So this stored value, incident notify owner of these journals, is like a custom expression. And let's look at this stored value first. So if I pop this open, I've got a stored value per object type that we might notify on a new journal. So incident and discussion. Let's look at this one. So I wanted one stored value per object type rather than multiple per object type. So if we edit this value is comma separated. So what this holds are the journal type names that I want to notify on. So journal note, customer request, and journal mail history. So what this comparison does is it looks at this value, and this can be edited because it's in the global scope through the admin tool, through the stored values manager. So we've got that, and we're seeing if it's like, let's open this expression, the journal type name of the journal in question. And I've put the percent signs around it because I wanted to wildcard this. So no matter where this journal type name appears in that stored value, I wanted it to be able to show up. Cherwell warns us not to use wildcards at the beginning of a value, but since we're working with a limited string, I think that's okay performance-wise. And so what this will do is say, if this is like this, and with the wildcard matching, then we'll return true. And this provides us with a switch to say, okay, for this period of time, I want to shut off notifications on customer request or on notes or on incoming emails. And you can kind of do that on the fly, and you only have to edit one stored value. So what'll happen is when this comparison clause finds its journal type name in this stored value, it will send a notification. If it doesn't, it won't. And as a system admin, I can then very quite easily, so that's in the blueprint, go into settings and go into stored values manager, and here it is. So I can change this on the fly. So if I for some reason want to remove notifications on customer request, all I have to do is delete that and click OK, and it'll now cease to send notifications on customer requests, and I can just go ahead and add it back in if I wanted to. And the comma separated situation, this is not key, but I just find it's easier to give directions to say, separate them with commas rather than with spaces. It's helpful, but the comma separation doesn't really do much of anything besides provide you with some spacing and some separation. But it's not actually necessary. We could use pipe characters, we could use spaces, whatever you had, just as long as it's not likely to show up in the name of the journal type, you should be okay. So that's the story. And what I just wanted to demonstrate today is a slight tweak to how you might use stored values as system setting switches. Again, we could have had a stored value per journal type with true false, but what I wanted to do was do it per major object type. So I would have one for incident, one for discussion, and we just have a string of characters that we're then doing wildcard matching against in our limit records section of our automation process. So that's it, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more Cherwell videos. Thank you.